Great person we have today in our Ukraine house. But first of all, let me thank you for coming on such a short notice on Sunday. Just 4 days ago, we all heard the words, and the Emmy goes to Ukraine. No, it was to Paramount because it was an international team, but it was to Ukraine. And the documentary, which we all have seen, if you didn't, please do. Football Must Go On, has been created by a team, and Volodymyr, as the film director, is such an important, not just member of creation of that team, but also someone who's behind the idea of telling the story of Ukrainian sport. Telling the story of Ukrainian sport, which is a story of fight for Ukraine, for independence, not just now, but also during the Soviet time, when Ukraine was under occupation, and there were so many Ukrainian sportsmen in other teams, here in Canada, in European countries. Volodymyr also is a very famous, not just film producer and writer, but also a journalist, sport commentator. So he knows what he's talking about when he talks about football. And with that, this is all remarks that I will say at the beginning. I will sit down and will be moderating this discussion. Thank you. So for more than 800 days, right now Ukraine fights in this horrible aggression from Russian Federation, and of course this last 2 days we all are reading the news and watching what happens in Kharkiv with Russia brutally attacking civilian infrastructure, DUI stores, just showing the rest of the world that they are doing it just because they can do it and trying to intimidate all of us. And I know for many Ukrainians to watch Emmy and to see this documentary win in a very fierce battle, because the other documentary movies, and I will just again repeat to all of you, Formula One, which was produced by Netflix, and it was very popular in the reviews, or Quarterback, which of course for the United States is a very popular documentary, again by Netflix, or Monster Factory by Apple, or Hard Knocks from HBO Max. Those all were pretty serious contenders. So tell us, did you have a feeling that going into the Paramount movie, your movie, will be the winner, or were you guessing? Was that a surprise? Like, tell us, how did it happen and what did you feel at that moment?
Oh yeah, for me it was 100% unpredictable, and 100% I not realized that it will be, because like you said, a lot of huge documentaries was in our nominations, and I spoke with another director who worked with me on this show, Alex Gale, who actually invited me to be part of this huge documentary, and he told me that, look man, it's impossible to win, just relax, drink a cup of coffee, and that's it. And you know, it was a very long story, because our nomination was after maybe 2 hours sitting in this theater, yeah, and I was sitting there and just wait, well, and then it happened, and it was like a shock, because the American producer from American side told us, man, it's not impossible to win. Yeah, I know you just came from Ukraine, but but after I spoke with the press, I spoke with different directors from another country, and they told us that we have to fight. They tried us to support more, and you know, for me it's a good chance to talk about Ukraine for the big audience, because we are speaking a lot on the political fronts, on the social fronts, but it's a good way to speak about Ukraine on the sport front. That's very important.
Thank you. Well, it's impossible. This is the phrase that we have heard a lot during these 2 years. And a number of times Ukraine has shown that whatever was deemed impossible, we made it possible. So thank you for, again, destroying another illusion of something feeling possible. Now tell us a little bit about the movie itself, because it's about Shakhtar. It's about a team from Donetsk, which has been occupied since 2014, when the war started. And that team moved from Donetsk, so for now more than 10 years, they're not playing and they're not training in their home.
Mm-hmm.
So when this war started 2 years ago, the full-fledged phase of the war, it was a reliving of the horrible war again for them.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the documentary. Why did you decide to specifically do it about that? How did you communicate with the team?
It's a story like when you get a call from the company such as Paramount or CBS, you don't actually have any choice, yeah. So choice, yeah. So you have to get this opportunity, and that's it. But actually, it's a story about football club of Shakhtar from Donetsk during the war, because in 2022 it was the first Ukrainian club in the Champions League, and the request was how it's possible to play football in a country with a war. That's why for me it was very important to show not only the sport part of Ukrainian football, but try to show the situation in Ukraine, to show the life in Ukraine during the war. And for me, it was like a mission to send more information to American side to understand more. Because the first step, they want to make a documentary about sport. That's it. But as for me, it was like a good way to get them more information about Ukraine and get them more information about situation in Ukraine in that time. So I spent approximately 6 months with communications, with the filming. After we made a lot of conversations, because I tried to give more context, because as I told, they tried to make this documentary about sport. Yeah. Then we made a lot of translations, because a lot of players spoke only Ukrainian, but it was fun. It was fun, and as results, we did not only fully documentary. We did 4 docu-series. So it's easy way to understand what's going on in Ukraine right now on Amazon Prime or Apple TV.
Thank you. Well, it's not your first documentary, you had a number of them before. The American Dream, the In Search of the Truth, Yuki, one of the very, very interesting, not just films, but also Volodymyr have a book, and we have the book here about making this film, and it's called When Wayne Called Me.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, and it's about Wayne Gretzky, of course, but and the football nation. But was there some specific challenge with this documentary? What was the difficulties which you didn't have before with other documentaries? Was it specifically difficult, or specifically maybe in some way inspiring to do this documentary?
You mean you? Yeah?
No. The football must go on.
Football must go on. Actually, it was like a work, because I did already at that time 3 documentaries, and it not was so hard to make another one, because I spent 3 years to make documentary. It was so hard, because when you have an idea to make something great, staying in Ukraine, and you are spending approximately 3 years to make the documentary by self, so it was so hard. But when you get a request to be part of the big team, it's much easy. What I did, I actually found very good people, such a team in Ukraine. We get a full access to the club, so it was very nice to get not only permission to be part of the club, but to get a full understanding why they could give us this permission, because a lot of football players actually don't want to show their life, because it's a very famous people, and for me it was very important to show not only, like I said, not only sports part of their life, but to show relationship, to show their families, because that famous people spend a lot of time to support Ukrainians on the front line. For me, it was very important to show how these people trying to raise money, trying to spend this money to the different stuff, and it's not only military stuff. It was like a lot of people bought some cans of fish, and they tried to spend this fish to the front line. It's amazing stories for us, and my mission was to show this information to the world.
Was it, I mean, it clearly requires a lot of trust with the people you work with, for them to trust you, to show, to open this life for you. Was it difficult with the team you were working, international team, and producers and Paramount, to actually keep those moments in the documentary? Were there moments when they would say, you know, let's focus on football, you know, it's too much Ukraine, or too much frontline, or too much something like this, or they were supportive and it was a joint effort to do it, what we see in the final product?
I tried to push it, because as you work, you trying to push Ukrainian to the world. That was my mission too. A lot of conversations, a lot of translations, because we had to translate all footage to English. It was hard because we had to translate everything correct. But anyway, we did it, and as for me, a result much better than I could imagine.
Thank you. Well, in 2021, your documentary Yuki was called the main sports event in Ukraine by the Association of Sport Journalists, and really a lot of people enjoyed that documentary. There were so many unknown facts, even for those who actually like hockey.
Okay.
Now, this one is about football, Yuki is about hockey. Do you have any special connection to hockey? And that documentary shows great deal of your personal involvement and almost patience in getting it done. Tell us, how did you decide to do the Yuki, and why hockey out of all sports?
Because sports is a good way to show Ukrainian culture to the world. That's why my idea was to make some documentary about Ukrainians or people with Ukrainian roots who won Stanley Cup. Because we did our own investigation and we have found approximately 57 or 56 Ukrainians who won Stanley Cup. It's a huge. Even Wayne Gretzky, first time in history, confirmed me his Ukrainian roots, and it was so nice because when you trying to find some information about Wayne on the web, it's very hard to find a confirmation about his Ukrainian roots. So my mission for it was to get this confirmation on camera, and after I spent a lot of time to share this information to the big platform like Apple TV or Amazon Prime. So if you want, it's too easy to find Yuki documentary on Amazon Prime to watch and to support Ukraine, because it's not only sport documentary, it's documentary about Ukrainian history, about Ukrainian emigration to the United States and to Canada, and this documentary really show what the situation it was in Ukrainian state 100 years ago.
Thank you. I will ask my question, and the next one is going to be from the audience. So I would ask you, whoever would like to pose a question, prepare. You will be next. What's next? I mean, after you won Emmy, how do you go about planning your next move? I mean, this is the top award in television, in documentary for sure, and we asked the same question from Mstislav Cherno, after his award for the 20 days in Mariupol, because it raises the bar. I mean, everything else you do after that should be at least of that level or higher. Do you have any plans that you can share with us?
I don't know about Mstislav, because the next step from Emmy is Oscars. But anyway, I would like to continue my way, because I have a lot of ideas what to do next, and I plan to continue making documentary. I have an idea to make a documentary about Ukrainian Olympic team, Ukrainian Olympic football team, because it will be first time in the Ukrainian history that we will have Ukrainian football team on the Olympic Games. So I think it's a good idea, but I think for me it's a good chance to use this this popular memes about me, convert it to my next documentary works. It's a good time, and I think we will get a chance to meet with you next year with a good chance. Yeah, good chance. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a plan, and
Yeah.
it's something to get accomplished. Now, do we have questions from the audience? Volodya? There is a microphone. Please say who you are and ask your question.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Alla Rogers, and I'm of Ukrainian descent. And I have a comment and then a question. I know for all of us in diaspora, it is a joy to see Ukrainians receive the credit for their victories in every field of endeavor. And to see it happening in sports, because the Soviet system basically appropriated every success on every level in every field that Ukrainians participated in. My question to you, do you think there could be a strategy for creating community, international community, that Ukrainian athletes could basically be the instigators of, because they were absent as Ukrainians in the international field? And do you see a way of building community among athletes so that they can use their great power as influencers?
For sure, yeah. Actually, we have one communities after the UK documentary, because a lot of people who is on the list from these 57 Ukrainians right now very united. They communicate after the documentary, and they are trying to help Ukraine. So it's very important, and I will be very happy if someone could try to collect another sport athletes in the United States and in the Canada to the another communities. It's so nice.
And we have a question from Ambassador of Estonia.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, it doesn't work. So thank you again for this lunch and for your very important work. I'd like to ask a question about the role of sports and Ukrainian people's attitude towards sports. We are currently witnessing the most largest military conflict in Europe since the Second World War. During the Second World War, all sports pretty much stopped. The Olympics in 1940 that were supposed to take place in Helsinki were cancelled. 44 the same way. So we pretty much cannot talk about sports during this time. Now it's different. So my question is, can you tell us whether Ukrainian people see sports differently now? Is it still an entertainment, or is it part of the national struggle for survival? And whether the athletes themselves, whether they see their role somewhat different than it was before, at least the full-scale aggression started.
Thank you. Yeah, it's too hard to make a sport in Ukraine, because a lot of people in Ukraine don't have any opportunity to continue their sports career. think in such a difficult time in Ukraine, a lot of athletes trying to be ambassadors of Ukraine in the world, and I think for the next Olympic Games we have to use this opportunity to speak about Ukraine, and I know a lot of Ukrainian athletes trying to use this big platform to share the information about the war in Ukraine. That's why we should go to Olympic Games. We should go to Euro Cup 2024 in France. That's a very important places to speak about the situation in Ukraine.
And at the same time reminding everyone that Russians and Belarusians should be banned from participating in those before they stop the aggression. And we have ambassador from Lithuania. Please, Audra.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, you took my words from my mouth.
Sorry.
No, I just also wanted to, first of all, thank you, Oksana, дякую дуже, and also for this day, not evening, I always does. And it's so important. The sport is very important, especially also continuing what Christian just said. What we're hearing sometimes that we have to separate war, politics from culture, separate war from sport or something. We are not agreeing on that. I mean, we have to, it's everything. So it's so important what you're doing, that you are talking and you're saying through the words of sport, as well talking about the struggle Ukrainian, all the people have that. It's so important, even especially in global south, in not only in our countries, in Europe, US, and that. And what I also was saying, that what Oksana just mentioned, it's also so important. During all the Olympics, it was ancient Greek, when Olympics were stopped, when the war was going, or the athletes rejected to participate and to compete with the aggressors, with the countries. Some Lithuanian athletes, they do that. We encourage other countries, we do as well, our teams, and I'm pretty sure some other countries as well do. We have to raise this question as well. Something like, I don't know whether it's my question, is more appeal as well.
Yeah.
When you present your film or something like that, it's also very important to raise that, if you do that, and what the responses are, because we are sometimes getting headlines when our athletes reject, or even kids from some competition, Olympics in physics or something like that, reject, so they are banned. But we think that it's so important to show. And
Thank you, and thank you so much for your position. It's very important for our country. Thank you so much.
We have more questions? Yes, please.
Hi, Larry Meehan. This is a fantastic day. Thank you for putting it on, and congratulations on your win. I'd like to hear more about sort of your insights that you received from when you started to now be an acclaimed producer, and how are you using that to sort of help other Ukrainian filmmakers build out the Ukrainian film market. This type of soft power that you're doing that was just talked about, I think is very important and impressive.
You know, it's a hard question because I don't know what happened next for me, because I just won, but I don't know how it helps me. Yeah, I hope it helps, but it helped. But how, I don't think about it right now, because I have to return to Ukraine tomorrow, and I have a lot of duties in Ukraine. You know, because we have a pretty different life than here. It's too hard to make a documentary like this in Ukraine, because we have a big problem with financial supports, and I was like a lucky man who got the invitation to be part of this project because of my fourth previous documentary. I really understand that it's because of Yuki I've got the invitation to be part of this documentary. So I think it's very important wing to Ukraine because a lot of production companies from Ukraine could get a feelings that Ukrainians can do a really good project not only for the Ukraine but for the whole world. It's very important to get this confirmation of quality. Yeah, it's very important. So I really hope that it helps not only for me but another filmmakers in Ukraine.
Thank you. Do we have a question, Julia?
One of the consequences of war is that it stops many futures, yeah. And I think we know about educators, among researchers, artists, but also athletes. There are people who decided to join army and they already died or they are fighting now. Do you think there is an opportunity also through art, through cinema, through documentaries to tell the stories of these people and these strategies to join, helping their country to resist and to win, and showing all world that again it's about separation of war and, for example, sports, that it is impossible if you are a citizen, if you are going through this, you are making something and you are stopping making the professional progress as you can do, yes, staying in your country or fighting. So maybe it will help the world to think about these times of war more comprehensively and thinking about that it is impossible to divide, and it is even more important to think that the country which is going through such full-scale war is losing individual lives and using a whole lot in progress in all the fields we can imagine.
Yeah, that's why we need more support, not only from the military side, but for the culture, film making, and something like that. It's too hard to be in Ukraine and trying to find a way to get a financial support to Ukraine, because we not only have a lot of opportunities to get this support. Yeah, some European funds share the information that a lot of Ukrainians could apply, but technically it's too hard to apply, because you have to send a lot of confirmations, a lot of papers, you have to find another producer in Europe or in the United States. So it takes time, but we have no time. That's why this question it's very hard, yeah. But anyway, I will try to do my best for the Ukraine, for the Ukrainian filmmaking, to make another documentary in such a high level than the previous one.
Well, as we close this part of discussion and we'll move to informal conversations where you all will be able to ask questions. Of course, for all of us now, for all of us Ukrainians, but I think for all of us who understand what this fight is about, and for all of us regardless of nationality, the goal now is to win the war, of course. And everything that we do is for that goal and for that goal only. But we have so many young people in the room today, which I'm very glad. So I will finish with two personal questions, if I may. First is, I noticed that your documentaries are about team sports, not about individual sports. We just all were at awe looking at our boxer Usyk becoming the what is it called, the undisputed, clearly, you know, I'm not a boxing fan, so I don't know all the right words about it, but undisputed heavyweight champion, if I'm not mistaken. But you also make movies about team sports.
Yeah.
Is that by chance, or you really is more interested in team sports, and why?
No, actually, I got a request to make a documentary about Usyk approximately 2 or 3 years ago, but the problem was money, because we didn't get the chance to find funds to make this documentary, but no, it not was like my goal to make the documentaries about team sports. So.
And then the next question is, did you always know that you wanted to be a sport commentator, a producer? Like, how did you become one? Like, you liked sports as kid, or you liked journalism, or you liked both? Like, if you can tell us a little bit, which will help the young people to think, you know, about this career.
I like both. I spent a lot of time in journalism in Ukraine, but the next step for me, I was participate like a journalist on the huge events like Olympic Games. So I work on the Olympic Games in Rio in 2016. Before that, I worked on the World Cup in Brazil 2014, and then I worked on the Olympic Games 2018. It was a Winter Olympic Games. And next step after that, next step for me, it was to go to the documentaries, because for me it was like a challenge to make something new. For me at that time it was very hard to change your way from the journalism to filmmaking, because it was 2016, then it was too hard to make documentary, because it was everything new in Ukraine. But for me, the big one was the feedback of Ukrainians, because when I finished my first documentary about Ukrainians in the United States by name American Dream, I got a lot of feedback, and for me it was like a good understanding that it's a good way to continue work on the filmmaking. That's why after that I made the sequel, American Dream in Search of the Truth, after Yuki, after the documentary about Ukrainian football team, and now I have an Emmy. It's a good good sample how to make itself.
That's a great line to finish our discussion here, but we will all can continue and ask questions after that. But let me thank you for making time on your way from the ceremony to Ukraine and stopping in Washington and in our Ukraine house and sharing your experience with you. I really hope that the next year we will be sitting here and talking about not only American dream but Ukrainian dream. And we all look forward to more documentaries about Ukrainian sport, but also about Ukrainian fight. Because this is what all of our sportsmen, when we ask them, and they say, of course, they fight for the country as sportsmen, but they also fight for the country, and we have so many who fight on the front lines. And I know that this Emmy is, of course, a great award for you and for your team, and it's personal achievement, but it's also achievement for Ukraine and for everyone who is there defending the country. So thank you again. Warm applause to